To create our modal, let me just get rid of these so we can focus. Inside of components, let's add a modal. New file, modal.js. Before we actually build it, let's just add another index file so we can simply just import from components. So export star from buttons, and we're gonna export everything as well from modals. Okay. So in our Figma file, you had an illustration. So what you can do is go and export that illustration as an SVG, or if you already have the SVG saved from your export from Undraw, you can just use that. If you want to export it, let me go back here. You can go to modals, and you can say, where are you? Under the design tab, there is an export option down at the bottom. So you can do export, sign up, export it as an SVG. Okay. Inside of source, let's just create an assets folder. This is going to hold all of our illustrations, our icons, etc. I'm going to create an illustrations folder. And then I'm going to go and actually drag this SVG in there. Just going to rename it to get rid of that one at the end. So this is sign up. Okay. Inside of the assets, let's just create one more file, index.js, so we can export everything. So export star from illustrations is going to be a little bit different. So we're going to have to actually use our SVG as a source attribute. We're not going to inline it. So the way I'm going to do that, so I'm going to create a little object here, export const. I'm going to call it illustrations. I'm going to call it sign up. So import sign up from illustrations sign up.svg. So what this will do is it'll export all of our illustrations in this object. Again, totally you can do it other ways. This is the way we're going to do it right now. I'm also in our theme. I'm going to go back and I'm going to add a new color variable. I'm going to call this form element background. This is going to be neutral. So our modal had that neutral 100 that it was using. But on our dark theme, we don't want it to be white. We want it to be something else. So on our default theme, it's going to be neutral 100. And then we want text on form element background. I'm going to set this to neutral 600, so it's going to be a dark gray. This is all in the notes if you need to go grab those values. I'm going to also add this to the dark theme, but on here, I'm going to change this to blue 100. So we can definitely tell the difference. Again, this is not going to look very good. It's going to look horrible, actually. And I wouldn't use this in production. It's just kind of to see the difference here. So let's build a modal. I'm going to close all of these files, close all to the right. Let's import React. We're going to need React and we're going to need style components here. We're going to do a little combination. Okay. Import React from React, and we're going to import styled from styled. Let's create a modal wrapper. This is going to contain all of the styling for our actual modal. So const modal wrapper, it's going to be a div. I'm going to give it, and this again is going to look just like your Figma creation. So whatever yours looks like, feel free to go add that in here. Mine was 800 pixels wide, and it was a height of 500. I also added a box shadow, which is going to be 0, 5 pixels, 16 pixels. And this is where that RGBA value comes in. So I want it to be black, but at 0.2% alpha. So it's going to be pretty opaque, or pretty transparent. For our background color, we just defined those two themes. So we're going to take props again. We want to grab that form element background. It's going to be the same for color. I'm just going to copy it to save a little bit of time. It's going to be text on form element background. Text on form element background. We're going to use flexbox, so let's display flex. This will align our items very nicely. We're going to give it a flex direction of column. We want this all to be aligned in the center. So justify content center. I also want this to be I want it to be both vertically and horizontally centered. So align items center. I am also going to give this a position of relative. We'll see why in just a little bit. A little bit of a border radius. And that's it. Okay, so we've got our wrapper. Now let's actually create the content that goes inside. So I'm going to put this under here. We need our type scale. So import type scale from utils. I want to create the header. Sign up header. It's going to be an H3. So we want our H3 to have the font size of an H3. So let's do that. So font size is typescale.h3, header 3. And back on my modal, you can see, so this is our header 3. This is our text content. So let's create that as well. Sign up text is going to be style.p. It's going to be a paragraph tag. Again, let's set our font size. Type scale.paragraph. I'm going to give this text a max width of 70%. You can see otherwise it would span like the whole container. We don't really want that. So max width of 70%. And I want the text to be aligned center. So we'll do text align of center. Center.